and welcome to your general weekly reading for the week beginning September 17th, 2018. This week I will be using the Mystic Fairy Tarot cards by Barbara Moore. And also intuiting any additional messages that are coming in from the guides and from the universe so that we can have the absolute best week possible. I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you are cruising right into our fall season. We have the equinox, the fall equinox this weekend. So enjoy these last few days of summer while you can and just get ready to start transitioning into fall, which is just kind of like a steady pace into winter when we go within the self and within the hibernation mode. So get outside as much as you can and enjoy this nice little last bit of summer while you can. The summer is always such a different vibe from the rest of the year, so try to take whatever pieces of summer you can with you throughout the rest of the year, but also just appreciate each season for the different things that it brings you. I know that a lot of other people that I've talked to are kind of excited about the fall to start, cleaning their houses and getting stuff organized and done because they've been kind of putting it off because summertime is so much more fun to just be outside and not really doing all of the human stuff that we have to do. So that is you. I hope that you are enjoying this new transition into fall. And if that's not you, I'm sorry. Summer will come again next year. So we're just going to get right into the reading with the cards. The one thing that I will mention, though, is that I feel a tiny little bit of anxiousness. So like I say every single week, nurture yourself in whatever ways that you can to make sure that you are feeling the absolute best. The biggest thing with anxiety is to not fight it and not feed it. So just allow it to happen and just sit back as much as you can and watch it as if you're the witness, as if it's not actually yours at all. Just taking what you can from it without judgment and not trying to change any of it. I find when we try to fight against it or we try so hard to understand it completely, we just kind of make it worse because we're like, why don't I understand my own anxiety? And then it just increases even more. So if you can, just try to watch it and see where it wants to take you. And when you start, when you finally get to the thoughts that you're having, notice if they're even yours. A lot of the time, our thoughts and our worries are not actually our own. And if it's, just a ridiculous thought, you can actually just correct it and talk to it and just say no. I find the biggest tool that I use in those situations is I just imagine like my true self within my head standing up in like a meeting room full of other Katies that are having their moments, their anxiety, or talking about all of the horrible things that could happen, and just kind of me, true me, standing up and just saying, I'm the boss now. Shut it down, no more. I'm the boss. I'm deciding we're going to be happy, or I'm deciding we're choosing another thought. So take control. I shouldn't say take control. Take ownership on your emotions and your feelings and see what they are here to show you. And if they start going down a path that that it's just kind of ridiculous, bring your focus back to what's actually important, because we don't want to give a whole bunch of energy to those feelings and those emotions that are not productive or that are not even your own. That's when we don't want to get tangled up in it, is all the fear. Allow the fear to show you and to teach you, but don't allow it to take you anywhere, because it's your friend, but it's not your friend that has your highest and greatest good at heart. So with that all being said, don't feed your fear or don't feed your anxiety. Just witness it. Observe it. Okay, what do we have to expect for the week of September 17th? This is already a really weird week. Feeling like the anxiety actually has to do with some procrastination. So if you've been procrastinating, this week, it's time to stop and start getting to what you need to do. But also, though, the anxiety that's coming up is unnecessary. So if you have been putting some stuff off and you're feeling anxious about it, bring it back down to earth. It's actually fine if you haven't done everything that your human brain has set out to do, and if you've been putting things off. Like I said, the fall and the winter is a great time to go within and clean out your house and do your taxes, whatever you've got to do that you've been stressing about. So don't allow silly things to bring you anxiety. And that's when, like I've said, that's when you stand up in your own head and say, stop, I'm done. I know that I'll get this done, or I'm going to do it tomorrow, but sitting and thinking about it as I'm trying to fall asleep and get ready for work the next day is not the appropriate time to try to solve your problems. So, or whenever you get anxious. It can be at any time. So for the theme of this week, we have the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles is a card that talks a bit about contentment. And so she's gathered all of her, this is interesting actually, this is totally the time of year. I'm just keep showing this card over and over again. Let's just leave it up here. So she's collected all of her fruits in the harvest basically for the year. She's starting to store up for winter. And so fours are foundational numbers. So create a solid foundation for yourself as you transition through the rest of this year. So through the fall and through the winter. Like I said, bring whatever tools that you can from the summertime. Try to bring it with you throughout the year. And take those little bits of summer that you love so much that you're not willing to part with. Bring those with you throughout the year. You don't have to leave them just in summer. But start to prepare for the harvest and prepare for going within the self in whatever ways that you need to. If you know that you get depressed in the winter time, make decisions now and sign up for classes or whatever you need to do. Sign up for those yoga classes or those crazy boot camps that you know that you want to get going on. Do that stuff now, plan it now while you're feeling good, so that when you start to go within the self, if you're finding that you're a little bit lazy or you're not feeling your best and you don't really feel like doing that stuff, that you already have made the commitment when you were feeling good, and you should listen to that version of yourself. And this version over here is just trying to, keep you back, if that makes sense. And I don't want to say that you should never listen to yourself when you're feeling that way. You always should. But when it becomes kind of a habit and it's an excuse, that you are making yourself feel worse in the end. So we definitely want to spend that time within ourselves as we go through the year, but we also need to keep up with those self-care habits in whatever ways that is, and you need to socialize with people so that you don't get too much into your head and too much into the anxiety. And the loneliness. The winter can be a really lonely time for a lot of people, so avoid that in whatever way that you can, because a lot of it is unnecessary. Some of it is your own, and of course you want to look at what's your own and what's not, but if it's not yours, then why, if it's unnecessary, then why do it? Why not just feel better? Okay, and so for Monday, Tuesday, we have Judgment. So this is a major arcana card. So Judgment talks about, of course, if you have any sort of legal battles going on, it could come to a close at the beginning of the week. But this is more so universal influence to show you judgment. So show you where you're having too harsh of judgments for yourself, where you're having too harsh of judgments for other people. It's showing you the actions and the parts of your life that you have created as a result of judgment. You could also be feeling judged at the beginning of the week by other people. If that is the case, I'm sorry. Just try to nurture yourself and, like I said, stand up in that meeting room within your head and just say, stop, enough. Because how other people feel about you is none of your business, really, because it has nothing to actually do with you. You know your true self. And if there's things within you that you want to change and shift, that's up to you and you alone. And you should not allow other people's opinions of you dictate your life or your actions. Straight to the point, and that's all it is. Middle of the week, we have Three of Pentacles. So another card about our physical world. So the Three of Pentacles is a card, again, of gathering. This is talking about our job, our money, our food, all of that kind of stuff. So be grateful. Take some time to look around you at all the abundance that surrounds you and have gratitude for what you have in your life. Oh, as you take part in activities that make you feel good, pay attention to the thoughts and the ideas that are coming to you, because a lot of us will be receiving, everybody on some level will be receiving some guidance and some channeling almost. So if you are a journaler or you want to get into it, the middle of the week would be a fantastic time for you to take some time with your journal and just write down whatever thoughts you're having. There's probably a lot of really good nuggets in there of wisdom, or, you know, the money ticket that you've been looking for, all those kinds of things. But when we're in those states of peace and enjoyment, that's when the epiphanies happen. That's when the guidance comes in, is when we're not trying to force it too much, when it just happens, because you're just in a state of bliss, in a sense. So when you're in those states of enjoyment, your vibration is lifted so that you're a match for that divine guidance more than you are when you are just walking through your life and not in a happy state. If you're doing something that you don't really love and you're trying to force out an answer from the divine or whoever, that's not always a great time to hear those kinds of messages. So if you are looking for some answers, some divinely guided answers, get out and do stuff that you love. Make those preparations for fall in whatever way you need to, and just spend some time indulging in that. And then pay attention later, or pay attention during, and then make sure that you're writing down whatever came to you. Because it may not mean anything to you now, but it's probably going to mean something to you in a couple weeks. Yeah, weeks. Okay, this is for the weekend. We have the Hermit. So another major arcana card. So we have about 50% control and 50% no control. So the Hermit card is pretty self-explanatory. The weekend you're going to feel like hermiting. It's not even going to be a you decision. It's more going to be a universal push to make you feel like hermiting. Maybe the weather will be bad in your area. Maybe you'll just be extra tired. Whatever it is, that's okay. Go within the self and find yourself. Meditate, connect within yourself. If you are having a bit of anxiety, just look at it without judgment and without trying to change it. And collect your harvest and all of your nuts for winter, but also reflect on all of the beautiful things that you've experienced in the summertime, and just get ready to go back within the self in the next couple months as we cruise right through to winter. The Hermit is a good card. It's pretty peaceful. It's not, you know, for the extroverts out there, it's not a bad thing that you have to go and be by yourself. Nobody's telling you have to go be by yourself. There'll just be a little bit of a craving to want to go within the self and maybe have just some nights at home by yourself, watching movies or doing whatever you got to do, and take lots of naps. Make sure that you're grounded as well this week, and being the Hermit will really help with that. That's interesting too, actually, when we talk about collecting things for the physical and kind of preparing. That's a very grounding activity. It's a very human thing to do, is to prepare for the winter and to start collecting all of the things that you'll need and start making those preparations for your activities even in the winter time. So that's a very human thing to do. So that will keep you very grounded this week. So if you are feeling like you're off in the clouds, ground yourself to Mother Earth, but also, you know, take that time to go and do a human thing. If you've been dying to go buy a bunch of fall scented candles from HomeSense, maybe this is the week to do it. And that will really help you to feel more grounded into the planet. Because some of you out there are walking around very ungrounded, and I don't know if you've noticed, if you blow out a lot of light bulbs, if your car starts acting up on you out of the blue this week, it could be just because you're grounded. You're not grounded. So try to imagine roots growing out of your feet, anchoring you to the planet, and just go and indulge in those lovely human activities. that will also help you to stay on planet Earth. So there you have it. It's going to be an interesting week, as it is every week. I hope that you have the most amazing week ahead, filled with love and abundance and gratefulness and hermiting and all of those wonderful things. Thank you so much for being here. And if you'd like private reading with me or an energy healing or a meditation class, whatever it is that is up your alley, you can email me at thejourneytospirit@gmail.com and come by katiehunt.ca if you haven't already. I would love to see you there. Thank you so much for being here. I so do appreciate it. I hope you have the best week ever. Bye.